What's up, everybody? I had said last week that I was going to finish up my part 3 series this week with how to do a switch 360, but I decided against that and chose to do how to do a switch up on a rail. That way it's a little bit more appropriate because a lot of mountains are starting to open up right now with the rail parks. I will still be putting out how to do a switch 360 in the near future. However, I will be putting out a few tutorials pertaining to rails in the upcoming weeks. That way it's a little bit more appropriate for the preseason. Being said, I do want to make sure you guys go check out my how to spin off rails tutorial before you watch this. That is going to be extremely important to learning how to do a switch up, and I would highly suggest watching that before this one. So before I get into explaining the two different kinds of switch ups, I want you guys to understand that if you can do a front two out of a rail or a back two out of a rail in a comfortable fashion that you are very consistent with, then you are fully capable of doing a switch up on a rail. It's just going to take that commitment factor. Okay, so let's get started with how to do a front swap. I chose to do it on a box to start with just because I understand the mental aspect of skiing and that most of you, if not all of you, are going to want to try this on a box first just because it's a lot less scary than maybe a bar rail or a handrail or something along those lines. There really isn't much of a difference between doing a frontside switch up and a front two out. The only difference is you're just going to do it earlier on the rail. So instead of waiting to the end of the rail to pedal and jump, you're going to land on the rail comfortable and pedal right away. That way you can get the 180 done before the end of the rail. More often than not, when I see people struggling with frontside switch ups, they wait to the end of the rail and then do a front two out and just kind of claim they can't do it. And it's almost a subconscious mental block that they're kind of falling into right there. And they keep saying they can't do it because they're not actually committing to it. And once you commit, you'll understand what the difference is. So I can put these videos out every single week and do the best I can to explain tricks, but there are some tricks you actually just have to commit to, and I can't do any further explaining, and I can't help you anymore unless you commit. If you're really having a hard time committing, try doing a couple front twos out where you jump really early, so you jump over the last foot or two of the rail, then do it again and kind of tap the end of the rail with a switch up. So do a front two out and hit the very last 6 inches of the rail, and that could help you kind of work your way up into doing the switch up earlier and earlier and earlier. I suggest learning the trick on some type of fat tube rather than a box. I find corrugated tubes to be relatively easy, and since that's all I had, that's kind of what I did right here. As you approach the rail, you need to come in with your knees bent, and when you land on the rail, also have your knees bent still. You don't want to be stiff, because if you're stiff, you're not going to be able to do the full rotation. So then once you get on the rail, you want to do it relatively quickly. You don't want to wait too long to start pedaling. The earlier you do it, the earlier you'll be able to get the front switch up around. And on most rails, you don't have a ton of time, so you want to do it early. So the quicker you do it, the better. Now the actual technical aspect of it is when you land on the rail and you begin to pedal, you're going to start to spin. And when I taught you how to spin off rails, I explained how you need to wait till the end to do it, because the second you start pushing on your heel, you're going to start to spin right away. So the second you start pushing and you start to spin, that's when you're going to begin to jump. Now in order to make this rotation successful, you need to actually make sure that you're not just using your feet and your toes to set this rotation. It needs to be a rotation set throughout your entire body. So it needs to be set from your toes all the way up to your knees, then to your hips, through your core, to your chest, and to your shoulders, and you need to be looking the way you want to spin. This is all important. It needs to work in unity in order to make this trick successful. So once you've gotten comfortable hitting rails and doing twos out, you're going to get on the rail and you're going to pedal a lot earlier than when you just do a two out. And as you begin to pedal, you're going to spin and then just jump. And that's what's going to allow you to do the frontside switch. One of the most common ways I see people mess this up is when they don't jump on the rail all the way 90 degrees. So I'm going to explain this as logically as I can. So if you spin left onto the rail and you hit that 90-degree mark, and then you push with your foot to stop yourself from spinning, and you resist that, and you push your momentum in the opposite direction, it'll counteract that and spin you the exact opposite way, double that amount. So that hits you 180 degrees. Now watch in this clip where I only jump on there at 45 degrees. This is half of 90. So now based off the same logic I just explained, if I only jump 45, I'll only be able to counteract that by double. So it's only going to spin me 90 degrees. So in order to do a proper switch up, you need to go all the way 90 degrees so you can do a full 180 degree turn. My good friend John's going to explain this a little bit further.
What's up, guys? I've been coaching this trick for a long time, and one of the most important things that I've found is to make sure that you're turning your shoulders at a complete 90 degrees when you're getting on the rail. So as you can see here, I'm putting my right arm down and my shoulders at a full 90 degrees when I'm coming onto the rail. Once I have that momentum down there, I'm able to pop up with my front foot and then land on the rail again at a 90-degree angle, as you can see here. One thing I've seen when coaching kids is a lot of times they don't turn their shoulders all the way. So they'll be looking forward but trying to turn their skis, and it makes it a lot more difficult to get the switch up complete. So like Jake was saying, you got to be able to turn your skis all the way 90 and then in order to land on the other side at that 90-degree angle. So I found it's the most important to get your shoulders down at that 90-degree angle and then pop them up.
So if you're having trouble getting the switch up around, it's probably because you're either not setting with your whole body, you're just setting with your feet, or it's because you're not jumping on the rail all the way. Alright, so that's it for how to do a front side switch up on a rail. And if you guys liked it and found it very helpful, please give it an upvote on New Schoolers or subscribe to my YouTube channel. And please go check out skitutorials.com. That is where all my posts and updates will be. I will upload how to do a backside switch up on a rail on Tuesday halfway through the week just because they did kind of go together, but I did want to separate them in videos, so that'll be coming out on Tuesday. I am going to be working with Revision skis this season, so if you guys are looking for a fun, durable pair of skis, head over to revisionskis.com and type in ski tutorials for the coupon code where you will receive 25% off, and that'd be greatly appreciated. And lastly, go give John Stelzer a follow on Instagram. He helped me a lot with this video and others. Plus, he posts some pretty cool stuff, so yeah. Alright, that's it for this tutorial.